Hello, my name is Roshan Narayan, and thank you for joining us on In20. If you're watching us on YouTube,
Pumping goals before the session. I was taking
whatever I gonna do,
Hello and welcome to In20. Now, if you're watching us on YouTube, do turn on the subscription button. And if you're watching us on the Rakia Post, thanks for joining us. Because if you do join us, you get to spend the next 20 minutes with a couple of friends of mine. Today, we've got Kelly Tan all the way from the US, who is safe in a bubble. I got to ask you this question because here in Malaysia, we're under lockdown, a conditional lockdown. Things similar over there as well?
Thanks, Roshan, for having me. Yeah, I mean, it's for us being in the bubble with the LPGA, we're very safe. We get tested every week. Even though this is my week off, I get tested as well, just to be sure that I'm safe around my family. So yeah, I feel like I'm very safe here, and I hope everyone's safe at home.
A lot of people think when there's an athlete involved, they're not going to be affected by such things. But does it play on your mind when you go out there, when you're participating and playing at the highest level?
Yeah, I mean, with COVID, you just never know. I mean, sometimes I still have to go get, stop at a gas station or go to grocery and stuff like that. And we just try to be extra careful. Like I said, we're very safe.
Yep.
So yeah, if you have symptoms, we have a doctor that travel with us that we can ask questions to. So at least I don't feel like, at least I feel like I'm in good hands.
That's always the best point. I don't know about you. I love to stress eat because that's the healthiest thing to deal with problems. So if you're having a bad day, would a pizza or a burger make life better for you?
Pizza or burger? I
These are ice cream. Which flavor?
any flavors.
Okay, as long as you don't say vanilla, then I'm happy with that as well. Because I don't like people who like vanilla for some reason. I don't know why. There's so many flavors, but just vanilla doesn't make me happy. When you first found out that you were going to be playing golf professionally, you're going to be chasing your dreams, you're making it happen. Was ice cream involved in this conversation, or your family? What was going on? How did you react to it?
That used to, he used to say, if you play well, we'll go get ice cream. So there was kind of a little bit of a motivation for me. That wasn't a story.
Yeah.
But, growing up at home, I always watched, instead of Disney Channel, I always watched Golf Channel growing up. So I've always seen the stars playing on Golf Channel, and I love golf, and I've always think about, oh my God, it'd be so cool if I can be there one day.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started at the age of 12. My dad's the one who brought me into the game, and took me a couple of years to get on the national team. And, just had so many experiences with the team and travel around Asia to play for Malaysia. And when I was 17, LPGA came to Malaysia for the first time, and Sime Dhabi was the sponsor of the event, and they gave me we call it a wild card to play in the tournament as the top ranked amateur in the country. I think that moment changes my life because gave me a little taste of playing with the top players in the world. At that time, the top 60 in the world get to play in the tournament. And I was running with them, and I played really well. And, after the tournament ended, they heard about my story because it's not a cool story, but, I stopped going to school when I was 16. Told my parents that, I want to focus on golf. I want to pursue this as a dream. At that time, they thought I was crazy. I mean, I get it. Even now, I have a daughter. If they told me they want to quit school, I don't even know what I would think. But at that time, I was so determined that this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to put my heart and soul into it. And my parents, like, you don't know what you're talking. This is a sport. You need a backup, like normal. I said, you know what? Trust me, I'm gonna give it my all. So somehow they bought into my sales pitch. 6 months later, I stopped going to school, and obviously Sime Dhabi heard about my story, and they obviously see my talent, and they have spoken to my parents. We really want to support your daughter. So they gave me the Star Scholarship, which was an honor. So they sent me to IMG Golf Academy in Florida in 2010. I enrolled as a January intake, and thankfully I passed my high school. But I had a great time in IMG. Just the culture, learning the culture of American and being in school and boarding school as well. So just being able to live here and just see, how people train and, train with the best trainer and going to school like 2 minutes away and just everything around me. It's planned according to my golf, not planned according to my school kind of deal. So that coming over here as a 17-year-old really opened my eyes and really gave me a taste of, hey, I think this is where I need to be if I want to be the best golfer in the world. So when I graduated, I went home and played a couple more years on the national team. And that's when I told my parents, I think I'm ready. I want to come over to the States and I want to go to Q school. That's where you get your card, your status to play on the LPGA tour. And my mom came with me. I played 3 stages, the most brutal thing anyone has to go through. And thankfully, I made it through it all, through this hundreds of girls in elimination, and I finished 13th. And I remember finishing. My mom was right there on 18th after I signed my scorecard because I play as an amateur. And the official came to me and said, congratulations, you've got your LPGA status. Would you like to claim this, or would you want to remain in my amateur? And I'm like, hell no, I'm gonna I'm not gonna just do this away. So I took the status, and I remember giving my mom a hug, and I told her, "I told you so." And we had
mommy, I told you so.
There, but yeah, that was my story of how I started and how I got my card, and here I am 7 years later. I'm playing on the LPGA tour.
But that is, that can be made into a movie. My favorite golf movie of all time is Happy Gilmore. For some reason, I can't lie. Okay, that's a movie, that puts a smile on my face. But at the age of 12, you have decided, you know what? Okay, you've gone in, you've got your first exposure. Then at 16, as a Asian student, you have just told your Asian parents that you don't want to study anymore. That is unbelievable. I remember time to my mom, I wanted to be a professional wrestler, and she just laughed.
Yeah,
but that's never,
back then they think I was just kidding. They didn't think that I was being serious until I really showed them. I would go to the course from sunrise to sunset. But if they were to send me to school, I would walk out of school and walk to the golf course kind of deal. So they have seen that trend, and I have told them up front. I'm like, it's not that I'm gonna ponteng. Okay, you're gonna get a call from about 12 when they check my class, and they're gonna see Kelly Tan's not there, and they're gonna call you. So I'm gonna tell you right now, 8 p.m. the day before, I'm gonna get to school, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna walk out. I'm gonna go to the course. And they're like, no, you're not doing that. I'm like, yes, I'm doing that.
Wow.
So, here's a heads up. So I was rebellious growing up, but I was rebellious in a good way. It's not like I ponteng and go do drugs or like whatever, right?
That's fair enough, yeah.
So,
but you were mentioning that transition 7 years, and a lot of people think that success happens overnight. So you've gone and you started training. How often did you train, in those early years? And who was your coach?
I feel like I was very lucky, to be honest. My dad kind of taught me the fundamentals when growing up, like when I was 12. Within 2 years, I made it to the national team. And that's when we have the national team coach. That saved my parents so much money financially wise. And I was with the team for 6 years. So I never really had to go get my own coach. So I've worked with the national coach forever, and when I turned pro, that's when you have to go search for. Now that I'm in America, I have to find someone that's here, but previously I worked with Ian Triggs from Australia, who's worked with all the legends, Curry Webb and all these people. So I had a great time with Triggsy, great career with him, and as he's retiring, I came to the States. I found Gary Gilchrist, who's another a guy who's changed my life. He's done so well in so many ways. Especially he's such a supporter of women's golf. And I've worked with Gary for 3 years, going to 4 years now. And, obviously we've done really well so far.
And what's the best advice he ever gave you as a coach?
I just feel like them being there. Every coach has a different way of coaching. but just I mean, for me, the emotionally side and the physical side, that he's always there when, say, I'm, having a bad year. He never doubted me. He would tell me
Mm.
that let's keep working on this. We'll get there. It might not show in a week, but if we're gonna see the result, just being there for me, I think helps a lot. So yeah.
That's cool. I mean, my expertise in golf isn't that great, but I do know that the one thing in sports is there's definitely going to be a good coach in your life who's going to help shape your career. You either listen to them or don't listen to them, and also equipment. I mean, Rory McIlroy, when he first came on board and he was setting the world on fire, I remember him changing his equipment because he was sponsored, and you didn't hear from him much in terms of the success he had early on. How much of that detail goes into your preparation? Because like for me, for an outsider looking in, it's just a golf club. What it just swing and the ball will fly. But how much of attention to detail is required when you are picking your golf clubs?
Yeah, golf equipment's come a long way just with technologies. Nowadays they can create a club that you swing faster just by swing. Like if you were to use a club that's 10 years older and the club that's now, with the technology behind it, they have a more powerful face off when you hit the ball, so you create more ball speed and stuff like that you don't have to equipment wise come a long way. It's very, very important to find yourself the right equipment, I would say. um, as forgiving as I would recommend, because I feel like a lot of amateurs, they want to hit what Rory McIlroy hits. The guy lifts 500 pounds a day, so it's a little different compared to them. So you have to really find the right equipment for you. For instance, for me, I don't just use TaylorMade my whole entire bag. I've kind of like a mixed bag. So I go to each factory and pick the. So say if my trend is, I tend to hit pink driver, but I stuck with pink drivers and then pink irons. But then I hit Callaway woods because they fit me better. And then
Mm.
I use pink wedges. And then putter, I use Bettinardi because I feel like they feel better for me. So I have a mixed bag. So I do what's best for me. But for people like, Rory McIlroy and, big players like that, they get a sponsorship, they get an endorsement, full set, which is good and bad if you can adapt to that. But yeah, overall importance of the right gears, it's everything.
And
It's my game. So
no, you sound like a boss lady, as in you know exactly what you want, you know exactly how to achieve it. And at times in careers as well, be it myself or anybody, there's always going to be dips, maybe losing a sponsorship or things that didn't exactly work out. How do you go by overcoming such situations for you personally?
yeah, as a professional athlete, you get, obviously, our pressure is performance. You have to perform in order to get endorsement and sponsorship, which is really hard when you first came out, because as a rookie, you have to learn so many things and you have to bump your head around to learn stuff. Financial backing is huge for golfers because we travel around the world. We have to pay for every single expenses. It's not like we show up at the
Mm.
course and entrance fee paid for, caddies paid for. You have to pay for your hotel. You have to get a rental car. You have to fly there, pay for your own food, kind of deal. Like it's not as glamorous as you see on TV, because those guys, they just get on the jet because they have an endorsement. So it's very different. And yeah, it's, through the years, I have new sponsors, or I have sponsors that's been with me for the past 7 years, which I'm super grateful for, like Mazda Malaysia. But when you lose sponsorship, it's heart wrenching because you start doubting yourself. Like,
Mm.
why do they not continue to support me? Is it because I'm not good enough? Like, are they looking for someone that's better? So all this thought that's in your head that plays, mentally when you get on the course. Though now it's my 7th year, I try to not think about those things. I try to spin around and go, you know what, maybe there's another door that's opening up for me. I know I have to perform. So it motivates me to train harder, to perform better. And yeah, it's just part of the career or job that you have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, I try to surround myself with great people in my team, my manager, my coach, my trainer, my caddy, my sponsors, who's, the past couple years has been really tough for me. I don't know if you know too much about my career. And 17, 18, I went through a slump in my career. Most Malaysian golfers knows about me and about my story. But I'm very proud that I went through it. And, even
It
though I
makes you
felt,
a better and more tougher individual as well.
yes, I feel like once you went down that spiral and get out of it, you feel like you're stronger than ever. You can conquer anything. So in a way, I was grateful that I went through the 2 tough years.
That's such a good, it's always great when people such as yourself who have established themselves in the industry come out and say, listen, it's not so easy. I mean, you made a decision at the age of 16 to, to challenge yourself and become even better. And then you've had this problem in 2017. And something as well, I mean, I got a few friends in the world of motorsports here. You really need a lot of money to financially back yourself, just not to play, but just to live as well. How does one go about, say, for example, if they want to work with you, Kelly, how do they get in touch with you then?
They can always email my manager at dusty@kellytangolf.com.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the best way. Some will email me just because they know me or text me through friends.
Yeah.
Preferably, I'd like to direct them to my manager just so I don't have to deal with it. But yeah, it's I would appreciate if there's any corporate that's interested. I feel like this is a tough year. It's probably tougher to get sponsorship for next year.
Yeah.
But it's just I hope that for me doing well this year inspire kids at home to train harder, or even in young entrepreneurs that's trying to work something out. Just don't give up. You just keep plugging it.
It's true. I don't know how it is because I've never represented Malaysia in anything apart from if there was a food eating competition, then I would surely win it. But what does it feel like? You get up there, you see them, your name's up on the scoreboard with the national flag. How does it feel to represent Malaysia?
Yeah, I'm super proud, honored as the only Malaysian on the LPGA tour. Every week, there's about 25 to 30 countries that represent on the LPGA tour, and most of the time, I would obviously spot out. Okay, the Malaysian flag is right there. I'm the only person, and it's just super proud to see my country's flag flying outside of Malaysia, like internationally. Last week I played at the KPMG. I did it really a lot, and just cool that I get like all these Malaysian fans that texted me on social media or via my phone or email, just telling me how proud they are, and it makes everything worth my training and all that. You just see the result. You're like, this is exactly why I'm here.
Hey, you're there, and you're an inspiration to a lot of kids, just not for girls but boys as well, who want to pick up a sport and understand that hard work is a part of the journey. So the show is only about 20 minutes. You've got exactly 1 minute to give any kid out there or any parent out there any advice in order for them to allow their child to, try and use sports as a way to earn an income. You have 3 reasons. Your time starts now.
Yeah, I would say first thing first, you have to make sure they're having fun. That's very important. I see too many times parents are forcing their kids into a sport because they see a good future for them. That doesn't really necessarily work, because if the kids it's not loving it, they're not going to put their hard work in it. And secondly, for instance, if they're trying to learn golf, I would highly encourage them to get them a coach instead of coaching them their own kids, because they don't necessarily listen to the parents nowadays. You get a good coach and set them in a good environment with other kids. It makes it more fun and they learn more at the same time. And yeah, just keep supporting them in any ways they want. Sometimes it can be a little motivation like ice cream. You do this well, let's buy you ice cream, stuff like that. Just to keep it loose, not my most important message is do not force them. Do not tell them that they have to practice. Do not tell them they have to go to the course. Just let them come and go. Can we go play golf, or can we do this kind of deal? Keep it loose.
All right, Kelly, thank you very much for joining us. I wish you nothing but the best. And it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show today.
Thanks, Roshan.
All right, don't forget to catch all the highlights on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram account. And remember, if you are watching on YouTube, do hit the subscription button. Till the next time, take care.